This guy hated me. It was mental and it was physical. You will never make it. You should quit right now. You have no talent. You have no future in this industry. I was 15. I've been cooking for 2 years. I'm not here to get bullied.
You're still a kid.
Childhood is traumatic. Shut down, pretended everything was fine. I can do this. I can push. I can do another day. No, stop with the bullshit. It was mental health.
What was the biggest revelation for you through your therapy?
Biggest revelation?
Romain Avril is a French-born Michelin-trained celebrity chef and celebrated author with a passion for mental health advocacy.
I've been talking about mental health for years. One person I was not taking care of was myself. In Europe, it's still very disregarded as like, this is fake, this is not true. And it took me 2.5 months to wipe 40 years of knowledge. I saw a pattern and I was just like, no, I'm gonna break that pattern the same way I broke the pattern of the chef who's gonna be yelling, screaming and throwing and being awful to his staff. Look at the stats of like chefs who kill themselves, of men who struggle with mental health now.
What's the biggest lesson you've taken away from this journey so far? We find it very interesting that the majority of you who watch and listen to this show aren't yet subscribed to our channels across Spotify, Apple, YouTube. It would mean the world to us if you can do us that small kindness. It allows us to continue to bring on amazing guests week after week and continue to provide you with amazing value and content. It's the only thing we'll ever ask of you. If you can hit that follow or subscribe button, it would mean the world to us. Thank you so much and enjoy the episode. It's interesting and weird sometimes when you see a chef not in their scrubs, because you're like, I know you as the guy wearing the white outfit behind a kitchen.
Yeah.
And then, you show up and you're wearing this really cool jacket, by the way.
Thank you, appreciate that.
And you're obviously a very stylish dude. All the jewelry I'm looking at. What's the necklace that you're wearing?
It's like a little robot. And it actually like moves, which I think is like super cool. Like it's
cool.
A little like, I think everything is linked to me, the creativity in the kitchen, the creativity like with styling.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was talking to my boxing coaches today. I was like, this is actually like being a kid. Because to me, this is like putting costumes on. You know what I mean? Like it's like playful and still try to keep like the world is pretty intense. So sometimes it's good to go back into like playing.
Yeah.
Playing with outfit, playing with food. Playing with detailed little robots like this, I think it's pretty. I mean, like to me, it's keeping me like grounded and kind of like in touch with reality and what I know from childhood.
You said boxing coach?
Yeah.
How long you been boxing?
Over 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it something you do because you're obsessed with it, or is there a deeper meaning behind it?
So like martial arts was always a thing. I'm a black belt in judo.
Oh, cool. So don't piss you off.
Yeah, I would not recommend. But to me, it's funny because I started in 2018. I didn't like my coach. COVID happened, so I stopped.
Yeah.
And I've always been like, have so much like intensity like running through. And like a friend of mine was just like, hey, there's like a boxing gym. Like the coach is French. It's right by you. You should go and try.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I've boxed before. So I went. Great session, was terrible. Like it was like oh my god, I'm so out of shape, and I've lost a lot of weight since. So it was definitely hard, and I realized that was the greatest outlet for my mental health.
Yeah.
So there's an obsession, I think, for how I feel, like expelling like all this energy that's inside of me. But I actually like really enjoy it. Like I'm gonna fight actually next year.
Oh, really?
I'm very excited for that. Yeah.
Cool. What kind of fight?
It will be amateur, but like Ontario.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely gonna be on the boxing ring and try to knock someone down.
First time fighting?
First time fighting in boxing. Yeah.
What's going through your head as you're thinking about it?
I think like to me it's just like competition, right? So like I've done it like all my youth. I started like judo. I was like 7 or 8, and I did it until I was like 17.
Yeah.
I had like a big like ACL injury, and I was like, all right, it's either I want to cook and I want to go to school and I want to actually progress and go to restaurants and learn my craft, or I'm trying to stick to judo. But where is that going to take me, right? So
Is there a career in judo?
There could be. At some point, I was like, do I go to cooking school or do I go to sports school? But then the chances of me like being like one of the top like judokas in the world were much slimmer than me being at the time a cook, right? Because like when I started, I was 13. I think the decision was made at 15, 16, right? I was like, there's very low risk. I was like, I couldn't be a cook. Maybe one day become a chef. I was like, this is more safe than trying. And again, when you're prone to injuries, like your career could literally end overnight. Which for me, this is what I did. I like retired from judo. Like after that accident, like I was just like, all right, this is like way too painful. Let's not do that.
How old were you when the injury happened?
16, I think.
What went through your mind? Because at 16 to make that kind of a life decision, it's very mature.
Yeah, it was definitely really, really hard. But I think it was not so much the injury. It was actually everything after. It's like starting to walk again, and how painful it was just to move my like knee by 5%, 10%, and literally like tears of pain. And I mean, like I have huge pain tolerance, but even that was just like psychologically like pretty rough to go with. The part was also my school was just like, we're gonna have to make you fail this year and start over because you're in a cast. Like you can't really be doing the serving assignments or the cooking assignment. Right. So actually, like, this is how I forgot about that, but like showing toughness is I would literally be in the kitchen, like, because I had multiple accidents. One was the ACL, one was like in tennis, I broke my wrist and twist my ankle. So I literally had a cast, like a walking boot. Geez. And anything, but I was in the kitchen, literally like in my cement, peeling potatoes and cooking, because I didn't want to fail. So like, it's just like, now that I'm thinking about it, I was just like, talking about mental toughness. Like I think from early on, it was always like part of me, which helps in this industry.
I'm curious, we've had a lot of conversations on this podcast around mental toughness and mental resilience. And interestingly, yesterday I was on a call with someone and we were chatting about what the fine line is between mental toughness and pushing yourself too much. Mm-hmm. What's that line for you? How do you know when you're, you know what, maybe it's not a good idea and I should actually be recovering and resting, and that trying to push through for mental toughness is actually only going to hurt me?
It's a great question, because I think I just defined that line recently. If I start to the beginning of where that mental toughness was created, would be, and it's a story I've talked about because I think it's important to talk about it, because we have a pretty toxic environment. The food industry is pretty rough. It's gone better, but still not great. Yeah. And for me, it started when I was, I think 15, because I started very young, right? I was 13. I'm at the end of the year. So when I start school, I'm already like behind. Yeah. So I was 15. I was going back to a restaurant. So like every year we would do like a small like month or 2 month in a restaurant, just to learn our craft. Yeah. First year went great. Second year I go back, it's a different sous chef. And that sous chef just like, I don't know, for me, he just wanted me to like, I don't know what he wanted out of me, but this guy hated me with passion.
I hear that a lot.
It was crazy. It was mental and it was physical, like bullying.
Oh, really?
To a point where
you're 13.
I'm like 14 or 15. I can't quite remember.
You're still a
kid. I'm a kid. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like a tall, linky kid. Yeah. That doesn't know anything. I've been cooking for 2 years. Like, what do you expect from me? I'm here to learn. This is literally where you have me. I'm unpaid. I'm here to learn my craft. And first time I cried in the kitchen was when it was something so stupid. But we have, I'm sure you'll see, but there's a way of cutting lemons, and then you're going to do some cross, and when you remove it, there's like some little, it's just like a designed lemon.
Looks like a flower.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's very basic. And the chef had shown me how he wanted it, which I did. And the sous chef, literally over lemon, started to like lose it on me. And he was like, this is not how you do it. This is how I want it. And all I said was just like, I'm doing the way chef showed me. And the chef was up that day. And he literally wrote, because at the time there was no text or anything, right? Like we're talking 2000. And he literally wrote like in the hand of a book, like how bad I was, how terrible of an attitude and everything. And the next day he was off and the chef was here, and it was like, what happened? And I told him, I was just like, what is this? And I was lucky enough that the chef saw what happened, and kind of like took my side and understood that like, okay, maybe it was like, I don't understand. Like, I don't see that when I'm with you. So like, you can't be that different when I'm not here, when I'm there. And that was the pivotal moment of my career, because if I could have just be like, you know what, screw this. I don't want to be a chef. I'm done. This is like too tough. I'm not here to get bullied. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
it's not even about it being too tough. It's almost just like, why would you want to subject yourself to such a hostile environment?
And the words were, you will never make it. You should quit right now. You have no talent. You have no future in this industry. That could have literally been the end. And that's where mental toughness literally, like, I would say, like, enter my body, because that's, to this day, I mean, it's been 25 years and I'm still talking about it because it's like still very raw for me. But that is literally why every time I achieve something, and I'm like thinking back. And I'm like, I wish, I mean, what have you done? You know what I mean? At the time, this man was maybe 45, 50. I'm sure he's retired. But it was just like, you were a sous chef in a random restaurant in the middle of nowhere. This is what I've done. This is what I've done. This is my achievement. This is where I keep going. And a part of it, I'm sure, is revenge in a way with myself and with him, because it doesn't really matter. But I think he's the catalyst of my success in a way.
Yeah.
Now, it pushed me a lot, like we mentioned, and we say, where's the line? Where we draw the too much. And I think recently I realized that I've been talking about mental health for years. I've been an advocate for mental health, but one person I was not taking care of was myself.
It's funny how that works.
And it's like, do as I say, but not as I do.
Yeah.
And I started therapy about 3 months ago now, and I'm 40. Life-changing.
Absolutely.
It allowed me to realize that I was not okay, that I hid, that I shut down, that I pretended everything was fine. But you realize that it's not.
Yeah.
You push, is like, I'm tough. I can do this. I can push. I can do another day. I can take another gig. I can take another heartbreak, to a point where, like, let's take a pause. Let's talk about it. See what we achieved. Be grateful for where we have. Be grateful for how tough we are. But let's take a pause and let's take it easy, and then like take a
moment. Yeah. What was the biggest revelation for you through your therapy?
Childhood is traumatic. Yeah. I'm very blessed and very lucky for the child that I had. I never missed of anything. Great education. I'm born in France. Education's free. So I went all the way to university. I have a degree.
Is university free in France?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Actually, I lied. Mine was expensive. It was 600 euros for a year.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That was expensive, right? So
600 euros is still cheaper than one course I took here.
Yeah, absolutely. Like $1,000 for like, are you kidding me? So very grateful. Like, you don't choose where you're born, but I was gifted.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But that being said, like, I was also grateful for my family, to my mother being a teacher, going to museum, taking us to play, taking us in a different country, like make sure that I learned like, so English is my third language. I took German as my second, and she put me in the Latin courses so I could understand words better. It will make me like a better brain. So have somebody who pushed me.
Smart lady.
I hated it, and now I'm like, damn.
But now you're
damn,
like, yeah.
Thank God. So all of that thing pushing me as well through education, because as a cook, I didn't really need to go as far in the school system, but she made me go to like push me to the highest I could go. I could even have gone like another exam and take a master, but I was just like, what do I need a master for if I'm going to be like peeling carrots next week? So I was like, all right, this is where, again, I draw the line. But yeah, no, it was definitely a revelation to have my family to be so supportive. Like, brother and me was the same. My younger brother, we were 14, we had a scooter. We were in age, they gave us a scooter, like an actual motorbike. We were 18, we got a car. Like, how many kids can say like we had all of this growing up? We always had food on the table. We've had an amazing. We went skiing. Like, very grateful. But there's one thing that did not give us, and that's like words of affirmation, like love. Not love. We were really loved, but through gifts, through education, through knowledge, through culture, but
stuff you recognize now as an adult.
But not, I love you, I'm proud of you, things like this, right?
Was that just your mom or both your mom and dad?
My dad even worse than my mom, yeah. And it's a different culture, it's a different generation. Like my dad like lived through like World War II. Yeah. My dad is older.
So chances are his father didn't say anything to him
1,000,000%. Yeah. And you know, for the longest time I resented them. But I just realized they didn't have the tools. Yeah. And I look at myself in a mirror and I was like, do you have the tools? Because you're doing exactly the same thing. And I look, and therapy made me realize the patterns. I was just like, oh my God, I'm doing exactly that. I'm a very gifting person in relationship. When it comes to emotion, the wall is down. I'm not talking. I'm done. I'm not doing it. I'm just pretending nothing's wrong. And I realized there was a pattern, and that's where like therapy and realizing like my attachment style as well. I had like a very short relationship in the summer. That was my biggest revelation. And actually like I went through therapy while I was with her. But she was my biggest lesson because I realized I was anxious attached. Realizing this, I got books. I started to read because this is what I do. If I don't understand something, I'm going to need to like learn everything about it. So therapy plus reading, it was not helping me as a man, but it helped me also as like I think like a mentor helps me as like a chef in every part of my daily life. But it also made me realize that childhood trauma is a real thing, and everything that I've blamed before, I did not excuse it, but I would understand it, like patterns from previous relationship, from previous like work relationship as well. I'm like, no, these people aren't bad. They're just not healed. And that was the biggest revelation.
Hurt people.
And I'm like, wow, it took me 40 years, but it took me 2.5 months to wipe 40 years of knowledge.
Yeah. And there's still more work to do. And
I'm only at the beginning. Yeah. I'm literally like grasping it. I'm like level 1 in terms of like finding yourself, loving yourself, and communication. Because now I'm like, it's the next relationship that we'll be in. I feel like when you play a video game, it's hard. You know what I mean? Like you have no tools. Like you have like a wooden sword and you like hack at it and it breaks and it's just like, oh my God, I can't go through this game. And then you progresses and then you're level 20 and you just like whack everybody out of the way. I feel therapy and knowledge just made me go from level 1 to 20 without and skipping like everything in between.
That's a good analogy.
So I'm really excited to go back, not anytime soon because I'm in the healing process and I think it's important to take time, something I never really understood. You know, like I would jump from relationship to relationship. I would hide, you know, I would not grieve, I would not heal. I was just like, whatever, next. But that's not how you do.
Absolutely.
You have to take time. You have to realize, you have to repent, you have to learn, you have to soothe, you have to heal. And then you can go to the next thing. So I'm excited for whenever that is for the next person, that they'll get Romain level 20 and not level 1, for sure.
Wow. What a journey and such a, interesting time of your life that you're in right now.
It is. And again, talking about being grateful, when I studied cooking school, and funny anecdote, when I went to, I was invited to go to Blundstone to pick a pair of boots. They were like, just come in and whatever you want. And I'm like, wow, thank you so much. I'm coming in. I feel like awkward and kind of like, really? Like, can I just like take it? Me? And so I'm picking this pair and this gentleman is like suiting me up. And the lady from the PR or marketing, she's like, do you know who this man is? I was like, well, no. Well, this is the CEO for Canada, for Blundstone. And it's literally putting like shoes on you. And you're like, okay. And she's like, did you ever thought that would happen to you? And I'm like, when I started to cook at 14, where there was an ad on the bus stop that says like, not very good at school, be a chef. Our nicknames were like greaseballs. It was not glamorous to be a chef. No. Like we were like, oh, you're dumb. You can do that. You can just cook and fry stuff off.
You know, the way people describe the culinary industry today, it still doesn't sound glamorous.
It doesn't sound glamorous.
Unless you're like a TV chef, it doesn't sound glamorous.
So I dealt with that for the longest time. And, 25 plus years of career, I'm here talking to you on a podcast. I've done TV multiple times. I mean, that's one thing when you ask me for links, I was like, I have hundreds. Like, what a privilege to be on a radio, to be on podcast, to be on TV, to be on a Food Network, to be able to go to a store, to get invited to events on a weekly basis.
Mm-hmm.
When I started my journey, I did not have that in a card for sure.
What's the biggest lesson you've taken away from this journey so far?
It's the humbling one. It's, I think the more you step up, the more you climb the rank, the more grateful and the more humble you have to be. I truly believe that the reason why the success, and knock on wood, keeps happening, because I'm able to look back, I'm able to wake up in the morning to feel grateful, to realize what I have, how lucky I am. And I think the reason why people are calling me back is like, this guy walked in, he was polite, it was nice, he talked to the camera guy, he talks to the sound guy.
No ego.
No ego.
Yeah.
Because who I am at the end of the day. I had the privilege to work with like TV stars, right? And you see how they behave, and you hear what people around them are saying. You can tell, like, they feel like there's a disconnection between them and the staff. And I never want that to happen. Like, it's like, can I please have some water? Yeah, I'm gonna get it for you. I was like, no, I can go myself. Like, or I remember going to Ohio for a conference, and at the break, I'm talking to the camera guy, and I'm like, hey, what do you shoot with? Like, what's your settings and stuff? And he's looking at me, being like, you're an alien. Like, who are you? What are you doing? I'm like, no, I genuinely care. And their face just like lights up, and they take care of you. And I think it goes back to the same environment. That's how I created in my kitchens. I want my kitchen to be safe places for women, for people of color, for people with different sexual orientation. Like, there will never be a place where they're not welcome and where they don't feel safe.
Yeah. If you're a good chef, if you're a good cook, you're a good cook, period.
I don't care. Yeah. You're good, you're good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not going to give you any treatments because you're a woman. I'm not going to be like, oh, darling, no, you can carry this. If you can't carry it, we'll help you. And I'm not going to call you darling. No, you are X, Y, Z. I think it's terrible for women to be treated differently as well, because it's not fair that your chef is like, oh, like, you can't do this, or like, oh, like, darling, honey. I was like, listen, she's your employee. Like, you're a boss. This is actually not okay.
Yep.
She has a name. Call her by her name. And
Yep.
if she's a chef, call her chef.
Yep. Respect.
Basic
respect.
Basic respect.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? And that being applied to my kitchens made me realize my kitchens were pretty much 50-50 women and men, people of all orientation, because I was actually not selecting. If you naturally not doing anything, you realize that society will be reflected in the place, because it's just normal. If that's the city you're in, which is Toronto, which is multicultural, very open, if you're not doing anything and you just hire based on quality, you will have a reflection of society in your kitchen or in your environment. And that's what I've created. And I feel like I took that with me when I got the chance to be in media or anything around, like, outside of the kitchen. But, all of that you replicate. And it was like, this works in this environment because I'm just being normal, I would say, and fair. And doing that, applying it into the social media, the events world, made me realize that I was welcomed and I feel safe, and I make people around me safe. And I think that's what allowed me to be able to keep going and being invited back and having this momentum, because I'm not an asshole. I mean, it sounds so simple,
Yeah.
but like, and if people are listening, for people who are listening, please take your ego and leave it at the door, because it's gonna bring you nothing, but probably like your door that will shut on you. Because when you're at the top, it's easy. But I've been at the bottom too, and I remember who kept me like away from literally like the ground.
Yeah.
And I remember those people. And when I'm back at the top, if they need me, I'll be there.
Yeah.
And I think it's a lesson that everybody should remember and definitely
Absolutely.
apply.
When you were talking about, when you're on set and you show kindness and people are shocked and surprised by that, and they're like, you don't have to do that. That's not what you do, type of thing. The word humble kept popping into my brain.
Mm-hmm.
When I was younger, I had been called humble a couple of times, and I was like, wow, that's so nice. Like, that's, I think, like almost the ultimate compliment. And then I realized, though, that what was showing up externally as humbleness was masking imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I was secretly thinking to myself, I don't belong here,
Yeah.
so I have to do extra to make people feel like, hey, keep me around type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever struggle with imposter syndrome?
I think so. Because, like I without realizing, I think what I just said, like, like I started as a cook and I'm here. So I think, if I'm putting like two and two together, it sounds like it would probably be that. And I did have, because I'm always going to be honest and I can assume, I truly believe that as human, we go through trenches and through like part of life where this version of me doesn't exist anymore. And hopefully it's always for the best, but sometimes it's going down. And there's definitely a part of my life which I can picture it, which was from 2016 to 2017 is where I really blew up. So I was getting ambassador deals for like huge brand like Monogram, Nespresso. I was on fashion magazine. Like I was like, what is going on? I was like, I'm just the best thing that ever, like walk on earth. Little did I know I wasn't. Far from it.
That was the ego.
That was the ego.
Yeah.
And that's the one time where I realized I was like awful. And I was not special, not awful to people, but like awful to myself. I was just like, I don't like this. The relationship I was in was definitely also pushing that part of it. And when I snapped out of it, and I can't remember who humbled me, but it's like, thank you. Because now I can look back at this person and I never want to be that person again. I'm glad it was only like 6 months of my life. And the funny thing, I still remember we had a photo shoot at Laval, and models, there was like extra models to like fit it with the photos with me. And the way the photographer or the director was talking to the models actually stopped the shoot, because he was talking to them like they were literally like garbage. Like, do this, don't do that. Like, it was so awful. And I talked to somebody else on the set. I was just like, I'd appreciate if we could like respect the talent, the other talents, and be like human to them at this point.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I know, but this is what fashion is. I was like, well, if I'm gonna be on a magazine, I'm gonna be on the first page. It's a reflection of me. So I would like for everybody to be treated equally. And we still had 2 photos left, I remember. And at some point, the director like snapped at the male talent, and I was just like, that's it. I'm not shooting anything else. And they were so upset because their cover photo was supposed to be the last one. And it was like me in the pool with like a shot of espresso in like a white shirt. So that was going to be like, it's going to be glamorous and grand. And I was like, no. And the PR was like freaking out. I was just like, no, that's it. I warned them. I cannot be a part of an ecosystem where I'm a talent and I'm God's gift to earth and people that are being treated like shit. And so, yeah, they never called me again to do another shoot. Fair enough. But at the same time, I know that day, and that probably was like part of, like, it was the end of that period of me thinking it was the best thing. And I think that was just like a snap back to reality. I was like, whoa. I'm not going to actually feed into that. I'm going to break that pattern the same way I broke the pattern of the chef who's going to be yelling, screaming, and throwing and being awful to his staff. So I saw a pattern and I was just like, no, I'm not going to repeat the patterns. Going back to my childhood, it took me longer to break this pattern. But like, I think in my life, there's always been a point where like, this is how it was. I can either carry on or break it. And I will be the person who will break it and rewire it. Because this is what it is, like rewire the brain with like childhood trauma and relationship and everything, breakups and all that stuff. So it's for me to rewire things. I want to be recognized and remembered as the person who actually made a change. Like we're on Earth for who knows how long. Legacy sometimes doesn't always belong in like having I have a book, but like leaving something behind because you created something. Sometimes it's just being a good person. And if I've changed 5 lives that are going to change more lives, I think like in the way I spread that, and then it's going to be kind of like added. The 5 becomes 15, the 15 becomes 50, 50 becomes 250, etc., etc. So I think sometimes you doing a little can have a bigger impact. You often hear, wow, just on what can I do by myself? I was like, it's not what you do, it's what you show to people, because then it will like grow exponentially.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you've did so much by you doing it. You've created 5 chefs. Those 5 chefs gonna be chefs at other restaurants. They're gonna repeat those patterns because that's what they know. It's safe. It's good for them, and they will continue it. And maybe in 50 years, you would have like changed hundreds of chefs that are gonna create safe environment for their staff.
And changes the industry.
And changes the industry.
Good for you for standing up for yourself and for standing up for the other talent. Who, I mean, it's one thing when you're the one witnessing it happen to someone else. It's another when you're the person feeling it.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
And I think I can put myself in their shoes because
you had the experience with
I know
the sous
exactly
chef.
what they're feeling.
Yeah.
I know exactly what they're feeling.
Did you ever, or have you ever had the conversation with your parents about words of affirmation and how much that would have mattered to you at the time?
I don't know if I ever will.
Okay.
Because it's still very fresh. And I know the fact when I told them I was going to therapy, they were like, why? You're not broken. And this is just showing you that they themselves don't have the tools to even understand.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, what do you mean? Like,
They can't even tell what's broken.
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a matter of them not wanting it to. It's just them not seeing it.
Yeah.
So I don't like again, to show you like I knew of it, I just couldn't really understand what it was. But when my book came out, my cookbook, I was in France. So like timing made it, I was like, of course, like my book gets released when I'm in vacation. Like timing couldn't be worse. Anyway, the 10 days prior to launching the book, I did a recipe. Like in 10 days, my book's out, 9 days, whatever. And I would post a video, and I would do that in France and my parents. So they would eat the food. They would be so proud. They would be like, look, like my son has a cookbook. They talk to the neighbor, whatever. They talk to others about it, whatever. Then I go home back in Canada. 3 days after I've landed back, there's a card in the mail. And I'm like, oh, with a French address, and I open it, and it says my parents telling me they're proud of me for releasing my cookbook. I was with them for 2 weeks. Not once they've said I'm proud of you. But once I was gone, when like there was no, I don't know what feeling is that they have the heaviness, then they sent me a card to tell me they were proud. When I was 29 and I bought my house, they didn't tell me on the phone they were proud. They wrote me a card. We're proud of you for doing what you've done at your age. Like it's always when we have a chat on Messenger. Even sometimes if something is heavy, my mom will not even message in a group chat with my dad and my mom. She will do it. Like she will take my father out of the equation because it's like, oh, there's feelings. And before I was just like, this is weird. And now I'm like it's even more like in your face, and you feel it even more. And I'm like, wow, all my trauma that I've had, and I've like my poor exes that I've put on them, when I came to being a wall of emotion, like they call me a robot.
Now I understand.
And you know what I mean? And now I'm like, I actually was. And I didn't realize, but I just, again, didn't have the tools to communicate. And will I be, quite frankly, I would love to, but I think it would be pointless, because I would tell them like, I'm not blaming you. I'm just explaining it to you, what I went through, what is going through, what are you doing, what I wish you had done. And I'm not blaming you for it, but I'm afraid because they don't have the tools that they will feel it as a blame. They will feel as like we were not good enough. We didn't do enough. Well, literally they did so much. So I think almost to protect them at this point, it's not about them, it's about me. I know what went down. I know how to heal. I'm on the right path. Telling them what I've done wrong is not going to do anything for them. They're not going to change. And I don't need it. I don't need an apology. I don't need like, we could have done better. I don't need that because I was far off better than most kids in the world. I figured out my shit. I know where I have to go. The patterns have been recognized. It's almost unnecessary at this point because it's not going to give me anything. It's not going to give me any validation. I'm aware, I'm grateful, I'm thankful, and I know what was wrong. And if, I don't think I want kids, but if I ever had a kid, I know, again, break the pattern. Yeah. And I would not do what I would keep everything. That was the good, which was 80%, so to say. I will keep 80% of the good, repeat it, and I will add that 20% of like pizzazz. That was the lack of communication of emotions, because I know what it was. Once again, I lived it. It wasn't nice. I wouldn't want my children to feel the same way I felt.
Yeah.
And I want to bring them to the world with the best that I can do. What they do after, it's up to them. But at least I've guided them through far enough, the same way I've guided sous chefs and chef de cuisine far enough, so they can be their own and fly with their own wings in the best world possible.
You said you don't want kids.
I don't think so. I don't know. I'm at a point. I'm 40. Like as a man, of course, I have more time. It's been like sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Also depends on the partner.
I think it was because I didn't want kids until I met my short situationship in the summer, and all of a sudden I wanted kids, and now I'm like, I don't want kids anymore. So I truly believe. Again, before I would be like, I'm just being crazy. Now I'm like, no. Now I can internalize it and realize that the patterns are, if I'm comfortable, if I do see somebody that could be the mother of my children, I might want kids.
Yeah. You know, what's interesting is some of the people I've spoken to on this podcast who've said that they didn't want kids, in my mind, would make the best parents.
Yeah. I
have that sense about you too.
And I appreciate that. And it's funny you said this because everybody's telling me, like even my friend who has twins, when I hold them, he's like, dude, like you're a natural. I was like, see how they stop crying, the way you hold them. I was like, no, like I don't know what I'm doing. It was like, no, you don't realize that you have like the keys to the maturity. Like I'm older. I mean, so like I was not mature.
But there's also,
30.
I'm sure, a gentleness to it.
Probably, yeah. I do. I've always said like I have a huge. I'm very. I make one with like my feminine side, which I think is gentleness, the way I plate food, the way I use acids over fat. So like I've always been told my cooking was feminine, and I embrace it. I'm very proud of that. But I mean, we're digressing, but I actually saw, last 2 weeks ago, I saw a fortune teller, and she asked me how long I wanted to be a father for. And I told her, like, I don't want to be a father. She was like, well, that sucks because you are going to be a father of 2. And I was just like, all right, well, we'll see about that. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, that could mean a father of 2 restaurants. Like,
it could be so many things. And again, like at the end of the day, whatever, like she can read the future, perhaps, only we'll see. But that was very interesting because the way she described me as a father, because she couldn't know.
Sure.
But she described me as very much what you said.
No.
That she was like, you'll be very kind, you'll be very like, you would want to make sure that your work isn't too much so you can actually be with them. You'll give them a lot of culture. And I was just like, she's literally describing like my childhood that I had with my family plus the 20%. So I was like, all right, this is weird. I don't like this, but whatever. We'll see. We shall see.
The, when you talk about embracing your feminine side, there's going to be guys listening and watching this episode who feel a bit tense when you say that because they realize that there's parts of themselves that are a bit more feminine and it scares them. Yeah. It somehow to them makes them feel like less of a man. Why, firstly, actually, let me rephrase this. Were you always aware that you were embracing your feminine side, and did you ever have that struggle of like, oh no, I'm a man, I shouldn't have this feminine side, this makes me feel less than?
So I always also like sit down on purpose, and I'm glad you touched on it because I think it's an important subject for men to be able to feel safe.
Yes.
And I think you'll be a better man and you'll be more masculine by embracing your feminine side. That's my opinion. All my best friend from being literally half a foot tall were women. Always had best friend feminine. My mother is a big figure she's the boss at home. So I always had like a feminine figure being important in my life. I was struggling with bullying. I was like a short, unattractive, braces, glasses, like at kids. So it was like I couldn't get a girlfriend to a point that my aunt, I remember, it was like maybe like 13, 14. My aunt and my mother sat me down and was like, listen, like if you're gay, there's no problem. We'll welcome you. There's no problem. And which I thought, with everything that I know now, I thought it was really brave, and I admire them for having put it on the table and not waiting for me if I was to come out of the closet.
Or to live a life of in hiding.
Yeah, exactly. And literally be like, the table's open, like you can sit with us. And I told him, like, no, I'm just unattractive and I have like no game. I don't know how to flirt. You know what I mean? Like, I just suck at this game.
Yeah.
You know? And he's like, no, I wish I had a girlfriend. And then I met David. David was my best friend in my first years of cooking school. We were at the door room together. And I don't know, David was gay. But he was a handsome teenager, and every woman would like throw themselves at him. And I would be on the bench next to him. I was like, hello. And he would just, brush them away. I was like, that guy has like the biggest standards of life. I was like, this girl is like beautiful. Yeah. And I remember one day, he asked for my phone. Like, we're talking like still like the old ass like
you gotta
messaging.
Flip the phone open
I'm old. And he was like, oh, do you mind if I send a message on your phone? I was like, because I don't have any more like whatever minutes. So he does, and I get a message back, and I get the text back, and it says something with like his nickname that his boyfriend, which I didn't realize, sent him. So we go back in class, and I'm like, oh, like Boo Boo, whatever the name was. And he like goes white. He was sitting beside me. He goes to the other side of the room. It's a Friday night. We're going home for the weekend. And I'm like, what did I do? Like, I just read the text message, and I'm like, oh my God, that was a man. But I'm like, who cares? So we're going to Disneyland Paris, I remember that weekend. And he calls me, and he tells me the story. Basically, he left. The reason why he was at this high school, because he had to leave his old one, because he was bullied for being gay. And I'm like, buddy, like, it doesn't change anything. Like, on Monday, you're still my best friend. Like, I don't care, like, whatever. And that obviously, like, made our bond, like, a lot more sacred in that sense.
Safety.
And then he came out to the whole class, to the whole college. He embraced himself. He became definitely more feminine in that sense, but he embraced his choices, his sexual choices, because it was like he has an armor by his side, and that's me. And society will accept him, because if they don't, well, I'm taller than everyone, so I will take care of it. But also I told him, listen, I'm 16, like, I don't have a girlfriend, I don't know what to do. And he was like, we need to like help you, so we're gonna like restyle you, we're gonna change your hair. I had like just like a buzz cut. I was bigger, and I lost weight. I started to not dress like I dress now, like, but still better than
you were at the time.
And then within months I got a girlfriend. So to go back to the feminine side, it was just like I always had the feminine, and then my best friend was gay, and I picked up on a lot of his mannerism with my hands. Like, people were like, oh, like, you have like a lot of like gay like, mannerism. And I was like, yeah, so what? You know what I mean? Like, doesn't make me like gay. It's just that, who cares? You know what I mean? And then my food became more elevated, and people were always saying like, your food is feminist, because there was like brutalism in food and feminism, like very French, like butter and cream and heavy large pieces of meat, and me doing like vinegars and things like that. So the flowers, the plating, like very elegant, but to me I'm so safe in my sexuality, knowing that I am straight, that I like women. I have no desire for men, but I can absolutely like tell me I have mannerism. Tell me that like how many times have I heard like, oh, like, you dress like a gay guy? What does that even mean? Like, what does that even mean? I take care of myself. I've shaved my body, armpits. And I was like 15. People were like there's something wrong with you, and I'm like, no, there's something wrong with you, because like, shaving my armpit doesn't like make me like either straight or gay. You know what I mean? And
it's just for comfort.
It's just many things like this that I always like, oh, you dress like this, like the way you do your hair. Like, I do skincare. I've been doing a skincare for a while. I take care of myself. Like, I take care of my nails. I take care of my hand. And it's like, no, I just want to look pretty, you know what I mean, or handsome. And I was just like, I guess this is my Leo part of my, you know what I mean, like, I'm maybe a little vain, and I do like to look good, but that doesn't make me less of a man. And I absolutely believe that men who are embracing the entire side of and being sure about who they are. Because if you're not questioning it, that means you're not entirely sure. If you're scared of your feminine side, what are you? Like, why are you, like, what are you afraid of? Like, embrace it, take it with you, and maybe that will make you change. And that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with either way. But I truly believe I'm extremely masculine, and in relationship, I'm definitely like the boss. Even in sexuality, like with a woman, like I'm definitely like very like masculine. But doesn't mean that I cannot have a feminine side on any other part of my like daily life. And embracing it, and I wish every man could do the same thing, because I truly believe they will be more masculine by embracing the entirety.
It would also help with their mental health.
And it will help, because I mean, mental health is about literally little black doors, black boxes that you're afraid of and looking at, and that's one of them. You know what I mean? Like, the more doors you open in your head, the more sure and clear you are with yourself, the stronger you'll be mentally. And mental health, as much as physical health, is so important to be able to just breathe normally and sleep at night.
Where are you hoping this journey takes you? Like, you've started the therapy, you're obviously very self-aware, you embrace your entire side, like every side of you. Where are you hoping this next journey takes you?
To me, I think I'm at a portion of my career, my life, where mentorship is, for me, the next step. I was learning, I was taught, I conquered and mastered some things. Now I believe the next generation should be everything I didn't get. I never had a mentor. I never really anybody showing me the ropes. I'm self-taught in a lot of ways. But again, I don't want to be the person who keeps everything for themselves. I don't want the 25, 20-year-old, 18-year-old, 15-year-old being like, well, I guess I got to do what he did. No, why? I have the knowledge. Let me get them to you. If I can save you 5 years, even with finances, you know what I mean? Like, be smart now, because especially in this society, it gets more expensive and more expensive. I'm lucky to be the way that I am, because I read books on, how to make money make money. So all these things that I know, I want to like give them back. So I think I'm in my mentor journey. But on a personal side, I mean, I'm single at 40 with no kids, never married. So part of me is like, oh, am I like behind? So I feel like there's a portion of me that is very far, and I would be like the career side. I feel like very strong, very safe. The finance, same thing with the finances. Like, I've done a lot for myself. Like, I got my house, it's almost paid off, things like this. I'm very proud. But on the personal journey, I feel like I'm just starting now. Like, I'm literally like grasping. I'm like literally like touching the surface. Like, there's so much digging to do. So it's funny but I'm embracing all sides. And I think being able to feel so strong on my foundation of financial and career allow me to now open the mental health, the physical health, as well as the relationship side. Because I'm like, listen, we don't have to, there's no 3 fire to put out. 2 are doing very well. We're keeping an eye, we're mentoring it, we're nurturing it. 1, it's work. And that's the mental health and physical health journey that I'm on. I think this is going to help everything else go smooth, but that's definitely like to me, this is maintaining and progressing. So there's like three areas that I'm working on, I think, and everybody does too. And I'm aware that one is more work than the other 2. So we'll pay more attention moving forward.
Do you still feel like you're trying to exact revenge on that sous chef?
It's tricky because, in this very training, they're like, no revenge, because I don't think it's revenge. I think to me, it's more motivation. And fuel, and almost like, don't rest because, like, remember, like, you have this thought of failure, or like being called a failure. So that definitely like fuel the fire that I need to always like overachieve. I'm definitely like an overachiever, which is not a good thing. I mean, it is and it isn't.
Why is it not a good thing?
I think you could lose yourself in overachieving. I didn't realize that, again, when we talk about the line that we have to draw. Sometimes too much is too much. You know what I mean? And we have to step back.
And you don't even appreciate the things.
You don't even appreciate. Like, I mean, like, I can only, on 2 hands, I can only hold 2 things at once. and I'm not good at juggling. So, I mean, I'm juggling a lot of things, but literally I cannot juggle. So I think sometimes overachieving can be where you lose yourself. And when you lose yourself, you lose everything.
Yeah.
And that's literally like one thing I learned in therapy and my self journey is like loving yourself and taking care of yourself is the most important. And I know I have lost myself a lot of time in a relationship. And when you lose yourself, you start from zero and you have to climb it back up. And then the older you get, the harder it is. So I think it's important sometimes to realize what's achieving and overachieving. Push yourself. I want you to push yourself, but know that limit where like, this is good. Like, you know, I don't need more than this. This is already like a lot to deal with. Once I've dealt with most of it, I can take another 25%. Let's deal with it. I can take another 25%. And not just like give me everything and I will like, I go ADHD, but still like, you know what I mean? Like manage everything at once. No, juggling is where you might just go into like a nervous breakdown and a mental health will take over. And then this is where things get dark and could be pretty bad.
If there's a young cook, a young chef out there, inspired by you watching this conversation, what would you say to them?
It takes time. It takes time. Don't rush it. I get that question a lot, and a lot of times I was always say the same thing. Work hard, be humble, like, you know what I mean? Like the same like bullshit that it's true, don't get me wrong. But that doesn't like changes anything. I was like, I know. I mean, like, of course, if I don't work, if I don't have a good ethic, if I'm a bad person, chances for something good to happen to me are really low. So it's almost like, do that. But to me, the difference from 6 months ago to now, I will add like, while doing all of that, take time. And two things, like go to therapy. I welcome and I had a conversation with one of my good friends who doesn't want to go to therapy because of like pride. And I'm like, I'm proud that I'm in therapy. I'm a man. And my masculine side is telling you, I am proud that I'm in therapy. I embrace it. I welcome it. I will tell everybody. Nobody on earth does not need therapy. Everybody could profit from it.
It's the same way we go to a doctor for physicals and checkups. It's the same thing.
If anything, it's even, because at least if I take a blood test, you can read what's wrong. You cannot read what's wrong in my head. Only I can. And the only way that you can know is if I tell you. So I will say like therapy is important. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing like unmasculine about going to therapy. You're not weak. You're actually strong by going to therapy. Take time with things. Enjoy them. Embrace the journey. Don't rush through things. Appreciate things more. And try to be the best version of yourself. I try to compete with others most of my career. I wanted to be the best. I wanted to be like number one at this, number one at that, getting awards, getting prizes. And then I realized that those are BS because there's 3 people who judge that day. They're just like me more than the other guy. Maybe if it was 2 other judges, I would have not won. It's so defined by other people. The one thing I can change is I can better myself every day. The competition is within yourself. Progress, be better, accept you more. Change things. Don't be scared of changing things. I was 50 pounds heavier a year ago. And I was not going to wear anything like stylish because I was hiding under a hoodie. Accept yourself, see what's wrong, and work on it. No one's going to judge you for changing or for trying to be better. But I would say like therapy is important. Mental health is very important. In Europe, it's still very disregarded as like, this is fake. This is not true. Mental health matters so much, and I will never repeat it enough. So from a young age, take that side with you. Understand that like your physical health, workout, like you don't have to play a sport. And one thing that I guess I've been lucky in this industry. I never really drank. I never smoked. I never really did drugs. That allowed me to achieve things, I think, at a younger age. So like the party side, the fun is good, but it depends what you want in life. If you do want to do big things, you're definitely going to have like a work ethic. And then can't find the word right now, but like really...
There's some sacrifices involved.
Sacrifices. I wish I could remember the word, but like really keep like things into like a plan and a journey, and like stick to the routine. And don't like try to keep as much as you can. Things will happen, but like toughen up. And toughen up doesn't mean like, oh, I'm tough, like nothing can happen to me. Sometimes toughening up means talking about it, talking to a friend about it, reaching out. That's what's toughening up, because you're actually not internalizing it. You're open to it. And that makes you much stronger, because you're not alone with your head and the voice inside of it.
I love that you just said that about toughening up, because we have this idea or conception that if we talk about our emotions or our thoughts, that's actually making us weak, when in reality it makes us so much stronger, because we're not easily triggered by anything. We're healthier. We're more self-aware. You mentioned in Europe it's still not a subject that's highly talked about. Why is that?
I think, I have always been asked to compare Europe to North America. The food, blah, 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 like so many things. One thing, I'm so glad I moved to North America. I don't think I am French. I'm very proud, like, go France on everything. But that being said,
World Cup coming up soon.
Trust me. I'm a big football and like sports in general. It's a different person you would have at the mic if we talk like sports. But one thing I'm so happy that I moved here for was everything when it comes to mental health. When it comes to this, I would say like the daily life stuff, because in France we are very rooted in traditions and like it's also like a very macho culture. I'm from the southern part of Europe, I should say, more so than Europe as a general. But mental health is so like it's starting to be talked about, but people will literally be like, oh, like, like mental health, like it doesn't exist, like it's not true, like just be a tough guy and just toughen up. And that's very much how Europe is, southern side of Europe is, because the Nordic countries are very much like Germany even are so much better place than we are in the south. But yeah, it's still associated to cliche that it's not manly to talk about mental health. It's not a real thing, because to me it goes to like, I can't see it. So if I can't see it, it doesn't exist. Like people who are gonna call sick because they're literally having a depression, it's like, oh, she's just lazy, or he's just lazy. Yeah. And I remember, because growing up, like I would hear my mom being like, oh, my colleague didn't show up to work because like she's lazy. Maybe she was going through super hard time.
Yeah.
But like we talked that like 20 years ago, like mental health did not even exist. Like there was not even a possibility.
The words, like you wouldn't even say the words mental health.
Exactly. That was not a thing. So let alone in the industry. And then you look at the stats of like chefs who kill themselves, of men who struggle with mental health now. I'm like, they were struggling just as much 20 years, 30 years, 15 years ago. We just never talked about it. It was just like, oh, a freak accident, or they had too much. It was because of the Michelin. It was because of this. No, stop with the bullshit. It was mental health. Yeah. And we try to hide it behind like, oh, it couldn't be that, because that doesn't exist. No. Once you look back at it and you accept it, and I was guilty of it. For the longest time, I said it. I was just like, no, like I'm fine. Nothing's wrong with me. I don't need therapy. Like how many times have I said that? And I look back and I was like, what an idiot. And that's my European side that like slowly faded into accepting that side of North America, who's very open about it. And I'm grateful for it and I embrace it. I'm not saying everything is amazing about North America versus Europe, but for that, kudos to people being more open and be, because I think we're saving lives by talking about it.
Absolutely.
I truly think that.
Absolutely. I got one more question for you. If you can magically go back in time and talk to that 14, 15-year-old version of you, the one that was crying in the restaurant, what's one thing you would say to him that he needed to hear in that moment?
So first of all, I wouldn't change a thing. I would go through every single heartache I had through. I don't really have regrets, because I think the version that I am right now is shaped with every single version that suffered at some point in life. So I wouldn't change a thing, but I think, and that sounds like delulu, but I think I have done that. I think there's like this version of me today that maybe magically transported himself that day into my here and like, trust me, keep going, because that was the pivotal moment of your life. And I think I did that. I think I magically that day, my 40-year-old version of me whispered in my 14-year-old ear, and said exactly that. I truly believe that, because I think, you know, like things are written, like I'm not religious, but I do believe in energy and I believe in all of that. And I truly believe that something happened that day. My life could have, if nothing happened, maybe I would just be cooking in a restaurant in France, married, 3 kids, be very happy. Nothing wrong with it. But I think I would have had like a very, very different life. I think the reason why of my travels, like my mental toughness, all of that, like, because I'm here by myself, like, you know, there's nobody here to help me if something happened. I mean, I have friends, but I don't have any family. They're like 7,000 kilometers away. But I truly believe the 40-year-old version of me went that day in that kitchen and hold my hand and literally like help myself to be like, don't change your thing, push through, greater things are coming.
Amazing. Brother, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
This was incredible. What a journey you're on.
Yeah, definitely lots of stories.
Yeah. How do people find this? How do they follow along this journey?
I mean, I'm pretty open. I think about everything that I do.
Yeah.
And I post quite a bit. I mean, like my 40-year-old video was not about my birthday. It was about like my journey.
Yeah.
So I think it's you'll find more of that. And it's on social media. It's my name, Chef Romain Avril, Chef Romain Avril. It's very easy to find.
Sounds so much better in French.
Yeah, I know. I wish people could say it, but it's okay. I've been abroad far enough. But no, I think it's... and it's tricky because I know if I stick to just cooking, my page will do much better, but I refuse to. I will stick to the voice that I have right now, and if I grow fantastic. But I think it's important to like throw some little bit of like, hey, there's also different avenues as a chef that you can make money, or you can progress, and also you can like spread good.
Amazing. How do you say chef in French?
Chef.
Oh, it's also chef.
Yeah.
Okay. Chef Romain Avril, merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you so much, everybody.